Oh, sir, I lost marks in today's paper. I asked the student what happened. He said in the paper, the question was regarding factors determining a certain parameter, like factors determining the cardiac output. And I knew those factors, but by mistake, I wrote factors influencing the cardiac output. So I'm going to lose the marks. Does that ever happen to you in any exam? Must be, because I've seen very often the students confuse between these terms and they write something else when something was asked in the exam. So this video is on a clear-cut understanding of these particular terms, and once the clarity is there, then you can write the correct factors and get full marks. So let's begin with the general concept. Basically, there are parameters in the body. They are called as control variables also. Now, for these parameters, like let's say cardiac output or blood pressure, GFR, pH, glucose, and so on and so forth. For these parameters or control variables, there is a certain mean value or a set point. I mean, for example, cardiac output, it would be 5 liters per minute. GFR, 125 ml per minute. Blood pressure, mean blood pressure would be around 100 mm of Hg. So there is a certain physiological range for each of these parameters, a set value, a set point. Now, what are the factors determining each of these parameters? What is meant by factors determining? Determining means deciding. I mean, the factors that will decide for a particular parameter what will be its physiological range or a mean value. For example, cardiac output. What are the factors determining the cardiac output? Stroke volume and heart rate. You know, the cardiac output is a product of stroke volume and heart rate. So, stroke volume 70 ml, heart rate 72 beats per minute. So, 70 into 72 would be 5 liters per minute. These are the factors determining the cardiac output. Or GFR, 125 ml per minute. There are Starling's forces which finally decide or finally bring the value of GFR to 125 ml per minute. So factors determining means the physiological factors which finally bring that parameter to a certain set point or a mean value. Now, factors influencing means there are certain factors that will deviate the parameter from its physiological range. Those will be the factors influencing. So, for example, cardiac output. It increases in exercise. It decreases during sleep. So, these are the factors that influence the parameter. They deviate the parameter from its original value, from its normal physiological range or a set point. And then the third, factors regulating. Regulating means if that parameter has been deviated, increased or decreased. Factors regulating means they will bring that parameter back within its physiological range or back towards its normal set point or a normal mean value. Those will be the factors regulating that particular parameter. So just remember these factors in this fashion, in this order or sequence. First, the factors determining means those physiological factors that determine, that decide that this is going to be the normal value for this particular parameter. Then the factors influencing means those factors that will deviate the parameter, means either increase or decrease from its normal range, from its normal value. And factors regulating means those factors which will bring it back to the near or to the natural set point or physiological set point for that particular parameter. Let's take an example to understand it even better. Taking the example of let's say blood pressure. Now the blood pressure is equal to cardiac output into total peripheral resistance. That means primarily the blood pressure is determined, is decided to be kept in the physiological range by these two factors. So they would be called as factors determining the cardiac output. All right. Now, factors influencing the blood pressure means the factors that would alter the blood pressure from its normal set point or a normal value. Factors increasing the blood pressure, exercise, stress. Factors decreasing the blood pressure would be sleep, posture, etc. I have taken only physiological factors here. So it means the factors have influenced the blood pressure value and deviated it from its normal physiological range or normal mean set point. Rather than calling it physiological range, let's call it set point. So these are the factors influencing. And finally, factors regulating the blood pressure, or let's say regulation of blood pressure, means baroreflex mechanism, chemoreflex mechanism, CNS ischemic response, or renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. So these are the mechanisms or the factors which will bring the blood pressure back to the normal when it was deviated. So factors influencing were the factors that deviated that parameter, they deviated the blood pressure from the normal value. And factors regulating means these are the mechanisms that regulate it and bring it back to the original set point or original value for that particular parameter, in this case the blood pressure. So this would provide some kind of a clarity and understanding for these particular factors whenever they are asked in the exam.